Hi, this is Allie with the Perception Trainers, author of The Perception Diet, and today we're going to do part 3 of our Why You Should Care About Stress series. If you've missed part 1 and part 2, I have put the links down below. Basically in part 1 we talked about the stress response, what is actually happening in your body when you are in stress, and we talked about how stress is perceived, so it doesn't really matter what's going on in your life. You can be stressed even if you're sitting in a spa. And then in part 2, we talked about some of the signs and symptoms that can manifest in your mind and your emotions and your body if you are in a state of chronic stress. So, if any of that resonated with you, and I would be very surprised if there were a lot of people out there that didn't resonate, because again, we live in a pretty stressful society, we live in a pretty stressful life, and there's a lot of things that activate our stress response on a minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day basis. And so I want to talk today about some things that you can do to help your body cope with stress, to help you take the stress down. And I really want to go over this stuff because I feel like pretty much everybody could benefit from doing a few or all of the things I'm going to mention in today's video, because like I said, I don't really believe that there are very many people out there who aren't dealing with stress on some level. And I think that most of us could do with supporting our bodies in dealing with stress, because I'm not here to say that I believe life is about creating a perfect stress-free environment for yourself, because I realize that, you know, life is life. Things happen, things go on, and it's okay to have a stress response activated every once in a while. But what we want to avoid is chronic stress. And also what we want to do is heal if you have been dealing with chronic stress. And I know that many people, naturopaths, doctors, or whatever, may say that it can take a really, really, really long time to heal from chronic stress. And I would say that's true if it's really, really severe, if you've really gotten yourself into a place of complete depletion. But the more that you support yourself, the more you do these things that I'm going to talk about in today's video, the more you're willing to kind of change your life, the faster that you're going to heal. Because, again, remember that your body is designed to be healthy. Your body wants to be healthy. And if you support your body in being healthy, it will be healthy, including your stress response. And it wants to heal, you just have to support yourself in healing, okay? So that's what we're going to talk about today, how to support yourself in healing from chronic stress. And I want to kind of preface what I'm about to say with the fact that, yes, I've helped other people with this in my practice, but also this was huge for me, okay? Like, I need you to understand, or I want you to understand, that I was so stressed out that I was literally sent to the guidance counselor in grade 1 because I was so strung out, right? And I lived a lot of my life being really stressed. And so if I can reorganize my life and heal from adrenal fatigue and heal from chronic stress and heal from even like the mental mind games of all of it, then you can too, because I really think that, like, I had it pretty bad, and I've found ways of really supporting myself, and I've healed in a lot of ways, and so this is coming from, of course, my clinical experience, but also my personal experience, okay? And I'm not just saying it because I read it in a textbook. I'm telling you these things because they actually do work if you do them, is essentially what I'm trying to say. Okay, so starting with nutrition. There are quite a few things that you can do to support your body with nutrition. Number one thing is to understand what's being depleted when you're overstressed. And that tends to be vitamin C, B vitamins, salt, and of course understanding that your blood sugar levels are probably a little bit out of balance and out of whack. So how do we deal with that? So vitamin C rich foods, oranges, bell peppers, strawberries, berries, pretty much all fruits and vegetables are high in vitamin C. If you're eating a large amount and a good variety of fruits and vegetables, you would probably be pretty hard pressed to be deficient in vitamin C, but understand that when you're stressed, you're gonna need extra vitamin C. So eating those vitamin C rich foods, very helpful. B vitamins, so leafy green vegetables, bananas, brewer's yeast. Again, beans, legumes, grains, nuts, seeds. If you, again, are eating a wide range of plant foods, you're going to be getting a lot of B vitamins. So essentially what I'm sneakily trying to say to you about nutrition is to help with the nutritional deficiencies, to help with the blood sugar regulation issues, you're going to want to switch to a whole foods diet. And this, again, like, I know that this is probably not going to be the most popular explanation and the most popular thing that I can offer you, but understand that when you're eating processed foods, when you're eating processed chocolate, candies, cakes, you know, hormone-raised meats and cheeses and da-da-da-da-da, you're flooding your body with a whole bunch of very difficult to digest foods, and your digestion is already weak. You are flooding your body with nutritionally depleted foods, and I need you to understand too that your body can go into a stress state when you are nutritionally depleted, right? So when you're eating a diet that is nutritionally inadequate, which is what a processed diet is, that's again just compounding your stress. That's only going to make it worse. So eating whole foods, eating plant foods, these foods are rich in the nutrients that your body is depleted in, and these foods control your blood sugar levels because they're so high in fiber and water. They literally help to control blood sugar levels, and they're healing foods. They literally are supporting your body and doing what it needs to do. So the way that I like to recommend that people start, if you really feel like you're very far away from a whole foods diet, and by whole foods, I mean, you know, foods that you can recognize, foods that don't come with an ingredient list, or foods that come with an ingredient list that you know what those things are. If you have to look up on the internet what an ingredient is because you can't tell me what it is off the top of your head, you shouldn't be eating it, okay? And if you don't even know what the ingredients are, so like fast food and when you're buying ready-made foods and you don't know what's going into that food, I would highly suggest you avoid that. However, if you're just starting and you feel like you're very far away from a whole foods diet, you don't really like fruits and vegetables, you don't really like nuts and seeds, blah, 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 my suggestion is start with whole foods and then eat whatever you're going to eat anyway. So for breakfast, have some fruit, so whole fruit, so not fruit juice, not pasteurized fruit juice, not even dried fruits I wouldn't suggest. Have whole fruits, so like some bananas and some berries with some nuts and seeds, and then have your cereal or whatever it is that you were going to eat. So just start with whole foods and then go with whatever. With lunch and dinner, have a salad. Have a big leafy green salad with all the different types of vegetables. Look up fun dressing recipes, and then eat whatever it is that you were going to eat after that. And just allow yourself to just kind of experiment with whole foods and see how those make you feel, and then work on cutting out some of the other stuff that maybe doesn't make you feel so great. And really this crowding method I feel is the most effective. So there's that. With lifestyle, the first thing I want you to understand is that when your adrenal glands are fatigued, you are going to have a cortisol level that is opposite of what it needs to be. So usually your cortisol levels are going to spike in the morning, and what that's going to do is that's going to give you energy, get up and go, so that you can wake up and get out of bed. And then what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to dip at night to help you fall asleep. But when people have taxed adrenal glands, their cortisol levels are generally the opposite. So you have a very hard time waking up in the morning. Even if you get like 12, 13 hours sleep, you still feel tired. And then you try to go to bed. If you don't get to bed before 10 o'clock, you'll notice that you get an energy spike. And that, again, is your cortisol going, and then you feel like you need to stay up till 1 or 2 in the morning. So reversing your sleep cycle, and I understand that this might be a little bit challenging, but if my recommendation is to shift your schedule 30 minutes at a time. So if you're used to sleeping in because it's really difficult for you to wake up, I do recommend just like shifting your wake up time half an hour earlier for like every 2 weeks until you're getting up at a reasonable hour, and then shifting your night routine. So ideally, if you could be shutting off your lights and all bright stuff computers, phones by 9 p.m. And then just reading quietly or having a nice conversation with your family or roommates, or drawing or coloring or journaling, meditating, any kind of relaxing activity so that you can be wound down by the time 10 o'clock hits so that you can go to sleep. This is going to be huge for your healing, okay? So getting your sleep schedule to a healthy place is so important for you. So that's that. I highly, highly, highly recommend adding in activities into your day that are purely there for enjoyment. Now, I know that this might seem like frivolous and like, how is this going to make me heal? But when you're in a constant state of stress, generally you're doing things that you perceive as stressful all day long, right? And most people, especially in our society, we have gotten rid of doing things for the sake of just enjoying. So for me, like, I added in playing a game of Sudoku in the middle of the afternoon. And that, at first, that was like earth-shattering, like, how could I not be productive, and da-da-da-da-da, but it was so important for my healing to add in things during my day that were just for enjoyment, just for pleasure, just for taking me down 5 or 10 notches. That started to reverse that, constant stress. Fourth thing is meditation. If you can simply get yourself to sit for 5 to 10 minutes every single day where you just focus on breathing. So focusing on breathing really deep breaths. Understand that that automatically shifts you into rest and digest. That automatically shuts down your stress response. So even if you're only there for that 5 or 10 minutes while you're breathing, that's still 5 or 10 minutes of being not stressed that you wouldn't have had if you didn't do it, okay? And it could be really great to do this before you eat as well, because, right, you want your body and your digestion to be working properly, and when you get yourself into that state of calm, it's going to help. And then so we got nutrition, eating a whole foods diet as much as possible, and especially if you have cravings and you're really used to going for those sugary stuff when you're hungry, don't not eat when you're hungry, but try and make it, again, whole food. So have a piece of actual, like, sprouted grain bread with some almond butter. At least that's going to stabilize your blood sugar, okay? It's going to be way better for you than that chocolate bar. So just edging towards whole foods. Edging towards whole foods. Supporting your body with sleep, supporting your body with enjoyment, supporting your body with meditation and relaxation. And the last thing I want to say, because I know that this is a big one, is mindful exercise. Okay, so most people, when they have adrenal fatigue, notice that they're gaining weight, and either they are so exhausted they feel like they can't do anything, and so they don't work out at all, or they try to do all these intense, like, HIIT workout, marathon running, crazy workouts to try and lose the weight. And both of those things are going to be terribly detrimental to your health. So if you're doing absolutely nothing for movement, know that that's a stress on the body, because our bodies are designed to move. So light exercise, stuff that's enjoyable that you can do for 10 or 15 minutes, so like going for a nice gentle walk, or doing some yoga, or doing some Pilates, anything where you're focusing on your breathing and you're just taking in your environment and relaxing a little bit while you move, perfect. If you are way overdoing it and you're noticing that you're gaining even more and more weight, even though you're working out 2 hours a day and blah, 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 yeah, you're stressing yourself, okay? Those intense workouts are for people who have very healthy endocrine systems, which is not the case for you right now. So if you're noticing that you're putting on weight even though you're eating nothing and working out like crazy, my biggest suggestion to you, and I know, again, this is probably going to sound scary, dial it back. Do yoga, walk, do Pilates. The more you stress your body out like that, exercise is a stress, and that is an overstress, the worse it's going to get for you, okay? So those are my tips on what to do if you're dealing with adrenal fatigue. Those are 5 things that you can do right now. And in the next video, we'll talk a little bit deeper about this stress thing, and I'll wrap it up with that. So if you have any comments, questions, concerns, leave them down below. I'm always happy to hear from you. And like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.